Hi and welcome to the preview video for the Australian Tour of India, which is for 4 tests, which starts this Thursday, the 23rd of February 2017. So what we're going to do with this video is we're going to do a prediction of the series, but before we go into the predictions and the betting markets, we're going to look at each team's chances in winning the series. And then after that, I'll give you my predictions and the market. So, as far as this series is concerned, Australian Tour of India is generally considered mission impossible, and India are very dominant at home. So, Australia certainly go into the tour expected to lose, and you'll see in the betting markets that that's clearly reflected, despite the Australians being one of the best test sides going around and being very dominant at home themselves. So we'll firstly touch on the Australians' chances as far as what they can do in creating a series victory in these 4 tests. So you look at the Aussies and you see their team, and they do have a number of world-class players, and led by their skipper Stephen Smith, who after around 4,000 test runs averages 660, so averages 60, which is incredible. And you've got him leading the side, and then you've got David Warner as opener, who averages close to 50 and is very explosive, perfect sort of guy to have at the top of the order, who can get the team off to a fast start, as we saw in the most recent series against Pakistan, where he scored 100 in the first morning of the test. So you've got Steve Smith, who averages 60. You've got Dave Warner. The other batsmen in the side do have a lot of ability, but the makeup of the side's yet to be determined. So you've got Usman Khawaja, who averages in mid-40s and who's clearly there in their top 3 batsmen, who's come off a terrific summer again in Australia, where he hit a wonderful 145 against South Africa, opening the batting. And then you've got Peter Handscomb, who's averaging close to 100 in his 4 tests so far in his career. Scored multiple centuries. Matthew Renshaw, who scored 171 in the most recent test against Pakistan. And you've got the injured Shaun Marsh, who's now available for selection, who's been in terrific form himself and has just come off a century in the most recent tour game against India A. So the question with batting is, are they going to give Khawaja that number 3 spot, or is he going to retain his position? Because it looks like Marsh is set to come back. Is Renshaw going to hold the opener spot? Is Marsh going to take the opener spot? Is going to come in at number 4, keep Renshaw at 2, and have Steve Smith number 3? All-rounder position, which is up for grabs also, is Mitch Marsh or Glenn Maxwell. Will if the Aussies don't go with 6 batsmen, are they going to have Marsh or Maxwell fill in that spot? Australians bowling, we'll get into in just a second. Before that, Matthew Wade, the keeper, will be then at number 7. So you've got that five of those batsmen I've just mentioned will play. It's whether they go with the 6 batsmen or they take one of those all-rounder positions with Mitchell Marsh or Glenn Maxwell. The bowling is an interesting one. You've got Mitchell Starc and Josh Hazlewood, who are both terrific bowlers. Mitch Starc's probably considered one of the most feared on the planet, and they'll be the 2 key bowlers for Australia. And then you've got more than likely to have 2 spinners in Stephen O'Keefe and Nathan Lyon. Nathan Lyon, the number 1 spinner for Australia. And then you got a backup pacer in Jackson Bird. So how can the Aussies beat India at home? It's going to come up to their batsmen really putting on big totals, and I like the batsmen Australia have. Can they convert that into big scores in the subcontinent? A number of the players do have experience in the IPL, and You've got Dave Warner and Smith, who have toured India before. Dave Warner played 4 tests last time and only averaged 24, so it is a bit of a worry whether or not he can this time around turn it into a real productive tour. Steve Smith scored a 92 in one of the 2 tests he's played in the last tour. Can he have a major series? I think the ability's there. It's just a matter of applying themselves and putting up those big totals. The pace bowling attack, they're more than likely to be used in shorter burst spells, with the spinners carrying more of the workload. Can they be productive in their spells? Will the wickets be conducive to pace? And the spinners, can they be penetrating and be able to beat these top class Indian batsmen? They all remain to be seen, but the Australian team does have a lot of ability, and it's going to be a tough ask. The Indian side, you're looking at a team that's undefeated in their past 13 tests at home for 11 wins and 2 draws. They're coming up there 9 tests into a 13 test home season, which started about September when they played New Zealand, and October, and then they've been dominant at home, and they just beat England 4-0. They've got a batting lineup where all the batsmen are scoring centuries. You've got Murali Vijay, who just scored a ton in the last test, and he opens with KL Rahul, who scored 199 in the 5th test of the Indian series, India-England series. And then you've got Cheteshwar Pujara, who hit 2 centuries in the England tour. Virat Kohli he averaged over 100 against England, is just coming off a double century. Ajinkya Rahane, who was injured, but scored 83 in the last test. Wriddhiman Saha scored a ton. You've got quality batsmen all throughout. They're playing at home, and they're playing against spinners who aren't expected to be really damaging. Can India post up big scores every game? You'd like to think they would, based on the fact they're playing at home. And then you look at their bowlers, and they're Ravi Ashwin, who's the #1 bowler in the world, who's quickest bowler to 250 test wickets, and Ravi Jadeja, who can win games within a session. Look at his performance in the final session of the 5th test against England. Took 7 for 48. And then you got the pacemen of Umesh Yadav and Ishant Sharma, and both of them who work well within the Indians' bowling structure. And then, if need be, if they're going to go for a 5 batsmen, 1 keeper, 5 bowler setup, then they've got guys like Bhuvaneshwar Kumar or Jayant Yadav, who can come into the side either as a pace or spin option, or they could even try Kuldeep Yadav as another spinning option. India have got great flexibility, and they've got depth as well. You look at Karan Nair, who scored 303, not out in the last test he played, being the 5th against England, and then he wasn't picked in the side for that one-off test against Bangladesh. So looking at predictions, it's hard to go past India. If you're going to bet on the series as it stands, just head to head, it's paying $1.16 for an Indian victory, $9 for a draw, and $9 for an Australian victory. So value is certainly not there if you're going to go for India. Can Australia do the unthinkable? If you think so, then you're going to be getting terrific odds, not just at $9, but if you look at the actual series correct score markets, in Australia win 2-1, paying $17. Australia winning 2-0, $101. So there's other markets there too, odds for different scenarios, but you're getting ridiculously good odds there for Australia. But as far as my prediction goes, I think India will win the series. They're on a 19 test unbeaten streak at the moment. Can they get to 23? It'll be an amazing deal if they can get to 23 tests in a row without losing. I think they might lose one. I'm just I'm just the way I'm thinking with what I said about Australia and their ability to have good batting depth. I'd like to see Khawaja in their batting lineup. He's one of their best players, and if you're not giving him a go and just writing him off as someone who can't play spin just because he's had a couple of bad tests against Sri Lanka, and in his opportunities he hasn't capitalised on succeeding in the subcontinent, I think you should back him in. He's one of their best players, one of their most highly talented batsmen, and I think Australia can win one test. So I'm tossing up between 2-1 and 3-1. I think there's a real strong chance of a draw. So I'll go 2-1 India at $5. Looking at some other interesting markets, so for most runs for each team, you're looking at Steve Smith, clear favourite for Australia at $2.50, Dave Warner at $3.25, Marsh at 5, Hanscom 6, Khawaja 6, Renshaw 8. I like Sean Marsh. I think he's in the prime of his career. I think he could have score some tons here, and if they're going to back him in like it looks like it, and he plays the 4 tests, I wouldn't be surprised if he scores 350 to 400 runs in the tour over the 4 tests. So India, clearly Virat Kohli is the favourite at $1.90, Cheteshwar Pujara $4, Murali Vijay $6.50, Rahane and Rahul at $8. It's hard to go past Kohli. You know that Kohli's going to feature. He's going to play a key role within the Test series. Can he score his 5th double century in 5 consecutive series? Remains to be seen, and he's certainly going to have impact. I don't want to. I wouldn't go for 190 on Kohli as a betting option to bet on. So, I'd like to take something a bit more left field and go with Rahane at $8. He is a key player in that batting lineup for India, and at $8, he bats at 5. What if there are early wickets? What if Stark and Hazelwood get through the openers and get to numbers 4 and 5 pretty quickly within the innings? So I'm going to go Rahane at $8. And yeah, the series is going to be exciting. I do think Australia will win one test, but I do think India will win the series. And yeah, it's going to be great. And yeah, let's hope for an awesome series. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Feel free to subscribe. I'll be doing prediction videos for each test, so stay tuned for them as well. Thank you.